So we'll talk about Broken briefly to finish off the reviews because, as Gary said, there's not a lot this week. I'm up to date. I've watched all five. I think both you guys have done up to four.
Up to and including 4. Yeah.
Up to and including four. Thank you, Luke. So at three was the whole thing with the Line of Duty episode, as I called it, where
Yes, I understood that quote. Obviously, once I saw it, I understood what you meant.
because in Act 2 we had the boy with the learning difficulties being shot by a member of the police, and then the police sort of banding together and trying to cover it up, and there's the one member of Father Michael's parish who's sort of struggling with his decision and trying to do the right thing and being sort of forced by his co-workers and later his wife to sort of
and boss.
stretch the truth. Well, I said co-workers, colleagues. Yeah. It's another sort of religious dilemma, and then running concurrently to this sort of finishing in episode 4, we had the story of Roz, who was the gambling addict who was contemplating suicide. I think episode 4 has been my favourite so far. Of the, where it's sort of centred on her and her issues.
I
had
and her issues with it, but yeah, I would agree. But I had issues. Yeah, but I thought she packed a lot in to what was in
her last day.
She did a lot of stuff. She did all the washing and cleaning.
Well, she knew it was on because he said, "Can you come?" And she said no. But then he ended up coming. Luke, come on, because you're the McGovern head among us. You're a nerdy fanboy for McGovern.
Yes, I am. But for some reason, and I don't know what it is, this isn't working for me fully. There are bits of it I really like, and then bits of it I think just don't. They feel like they're not part of the same show. Sean Bean I find incredibly just brings me down. I know he's gone through a lot and things, but it doesn't gel together as one show for me, and everything that happens just feels consequential. It doesn't feel like something that I believe to be happening. Like all the stuff with the young boy being killed sort of came out the blue, and it didn't affect me emotionally.
Things happen like that, though, don't they?
I appreciate that, but it did because of it. Seemed so random and so disconnected. It didn't affect me emotionally as it should have. I think. And what happened was, as Matt said weeks ago, Jimmy wrote this series as a Person of the Week thing, then got Sean Bean and thought, well, we'll embellish Sean Bean's story a bit and give him more to do. And so he's had to chuck a load, I'm sure, onto the floor. I
would agree. It does feel a little bit rushed in places.
No,
I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree that I don't think it works, but I do feel like.
Have you enjoyed it? Well, not enjoyed it, but what are your feelings on it?
I think that's the thing. I think I would use the word endured at times because of how hard hitting it is.
But then we're used to that from McGovern. The streets.
But normally his stuff really gels together, and I don't think the characters are that well drawn. I don't think the woman who did kill herself was an interesting story. I don't think I've ever seen on TV before. But I found her quite grating and quite annoying. I didn't. The character. I
found her quite sympathetic. I liked all the stuff where she was teaching her sons how to cook and things. I thought that was all quite realistic. And this last episode that's been on was quite slow, and I found it was to do with Helen, who's the woman who lost her son. Her brother rocks up from, I think it's an African country, and straight away has a big row with her gay neighbour. And it's all about homosexuality in the Catholic Church and him.
And it's was it on 5:15 Saturday afternoon?
Each episode, I've kind of started to watch it and thought, oh, this is an hour. Actually, they've gone quite quickly, and I've been quite surprised at how well they've kept my attention. But I would say that I'm human man, the same sort of thing. I'm filled with the same sort of thing when I get to the next episode. I'm sort of like, before I press go, I'm looking at the watch and thinking, is there something else I could be doing? It's not dragging me to watch the next one.
To be fair, you must have done that more with the 3 you got us to watch. You have to have.
No, because I didn't know anything about them. That feeling certainly came 20 minutes in.
So if you watched the second episode of Gypsy...
Well, I don't know because I won't be doing that, so I can't confirm it. But I would agree that I probably wouldn't have chosen Broken had we not been doing a podcast, blah blah blah. But I did find it interesting television, something that made me think. And we've often said that's sometimes as good as something that entertains you, something that makes you think.
Yeah,
One thing I would agree with is that it does seem to be a lot happening to him all at once, and I don't know if that's where you're coming from in terms of, like, he's like a priest, and then all of a sudden, he has the stuff with Anna Friel, he has this boy dying in his parish, he has this woman saying, I'm going to kill myself, and it's all happening. And he did make a point of saying that when he goes to visit Adrian Dunbar priest, who just seems to he just seems to visit him like late at night, doesn't he? And it'll turn out in the final episode he doesn't actually exist.
Well, that's my problem. Since you said that, I keep thinking he's not real, is he?
I just wanted to ask about what you think about Sean Bean's performance, because he is getting a lot of plaudits, and I personally think he's very good in this.
I don't like him. I don't
Why
like
not?
him personally. I don't know. I don't know whether it's him or the character, but he brings the
don't
show
you
down.
like, though? But it's a Jimmy McGovern drama. It's people getting shot and killing themselves. It would be brought down regardless, surely.
But like Robbie Coltrane, and let's just use him for example. He was a lead, but he sort of lifted things in his performance, even if he was drinking or gambling or whatever.
You say he has not got the charisma, then, the screen presence. Is that maybe?
Personally, just purely on my side, I don't think he does. No, I think he brings it down, because I was quite invested with the girl killing herself, even though I had issues with aspects of it. I was really involved with Anna Friel. I was semi-involved with the police stuff, but whenever he's on screen, I just go, oh, we're back
all
to
the stuff with his mum. All the stuff with his mum.
I think there's a lot going on there.
I feel that he's a good supporting actor. I don't know if he is a good lead actor.
Okay. Good ensemble player.
Yeah, so I think it would have been better if the show wasn't as focused on him. When he has his moments, he's certainly a good. I think he's a good actor.
I like
the
scene. Know if he's a lead. I'll tell you the scene I thought he shone in is where he confronted the priest who had abused him as a child.
Again, although I liked it, I kind of felt like it was a little bit out of place.
That's where they're sort of relating these flashbacks to, isn't it? All the, him being touched on the knee, and is that the stuff you're not a fan of? All that, the flashback things, Luke, or is that just?
Well, no, it doesn't bother me. I don't know whether it needs it. There's a lot going on in the present to have all the past stuff as well. I don't know whether it needs it. A bit of a behind-the-scenes thing. Matt's internet dropped, and Gary and I were just talking between ourselves and saying, is it hypocritical that I'm probably only watching this because I know it's Jimmy McGovern, and if it was somebody else, say like a Danny Brocklehurst drama, or somebody else that we're not massive fans of had written the same thing, I think I'd have dropped out.
I mean, I still would be watching regardless of his writing, because I quite enjoy it, but if I was in that situation, I probably would have dropped out of it if I wasn't enjoying it. I was feeling
so
how I think you're feeling.
That makes me a massive hypocrite then, doesn't it, really?
Well, and I let to your defence, and I'll do it again, because there are people out there who go, I watch every film with Tom Cruise in it, even the crap ones. There are people who like certain actors and writers and directors and watch everything they do.
I don't think I've done that. Yeah, I don't think I've done that with anyone. I can't think anyway. If
mind you, we only watched episode 1 of Banished, didn't we? And then none of us watched past. That one. I do think of the 5 broadcast dramas that are on British television at this moment, it is the best, because what else have we got? The Lock, Fearless, Blackley Bridge.
He's saying a lot about the others.
And what's the other one? You said 5.
Well, I was going to include The Handmaid's Tale, but that's
Doctor Who. That's just finished.
Well, yeah, I could have cleared that. So it is the best, but I just don't know. And then I don't know. I'm in the minority.
What you're saying, Luke, is you don't know.
Do you not know, Luke?
When we come to do the year thing, if you have it on.
Yeah, that'll be the watermark, I think.
I'm thinking, I mean, I'm enjoying it episode by episode, but as a series, I'm still not. I'm like, does this slot together? I'm not thinking like I'm really enjoying this in the way that I did with Unforgotten and No Offence and things like that. But I'm not watching it out of obligation. I think I'm enjoying it, and I like the writing, and I think it's a believable portrait of our society today. Like the stuff with the gambling, the stuff with the mental health, the stuff with the police. It all feels like he's criticising the underfunded nature of it. He's criticising the loss in faith. There's a lot in there that I like.
There's a little bit of what's that? I Daniel Blake in there. The kind of.
I watched that this week and really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.